At some point, maybe it is happening right now. Life asks you to become someone you have not been yet. Not through a gentle invitation, but through the loss of a job, the loss of a country, a diagnosis, a relationship ending, or just a quiet morning when you wake up and realize the person I have been performing no longer fits. That moment is not a breakdown, it is a threshold. Hello, I'm Dr. RB. I'm a licensed psychologist in Florida and New York. And if you're returning, welcome back. And if you're new here to my channel, I'm so glad that you found your way. This channel is a sacred space where depth psychology meets ancient wisdom and where spirituality, human design, and therapeutic tools come together to guide personal transformation. My mission is to help you reconnect with your authentic self and divine guidance so that you can navigate this rapidly changing world with clarity, purpose, and peace. In Jungian depth psychology, there's a concept called the nekyia. It's borrowed from ancient Greek, the night sea journey, it's called, the descent that precedes transformation. We see it in the mythology of Odysseus entering the underworld. We see it in the Old Testament story of Jonah in the belly of the whale, or maybe Persephone as she's taken to the depths of hell, and Inanna hanging on the hook in the dark depths. These myths are not entertainment. They are maps of what the psyche does when it is asked to change at a fundamental level, not just on the surface, but all the way down deep, deep below. And right now in 2026, an enormous number of people are in the middle of one. Career disruption, migration, burnout that doesn't resolve with a vacation, the strange vertigo of a life transition that has no script. Does it sound familiar? Today, I want to walk with you through what is actually happening in those moments and what becomes possible when you understand the threshold not as something gone wrong, but as something essential. The old self has to die. Have you heard of that? I know this sounds dramatic, but just stay with me. When a threshold appears, when you lose the role, the title, the country, the relationship, the body you thought you had, what you lose first is not the thing itself. What you lose is the story you were telling about yourself through that I'm a director, I'm from this place, I am someone who doesn't get sick, I am someone whose family stays together, blah, 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 blah. When the thing goes, the story goes with it. And that loss of story, that is the real grief of a major life transition. Jung called this the loosening of the persona. The persona is the constructed self, the social mask we build to belong, to be accepted, to function in the world. The persona is not false in and of itself. It is necessary, but it is not the whole of you. And transitions at their deepest level are asking the persona to step back so the self, the deeper, wider, more essential you, the part that's connected to the divine, can finally speak. The grief is real. Please don't skip the grief. But the grief is not the end of the story. It's crazy. Let's talk a little bit about the liminal space. This is where the work is. This is the fertile ground. There's a Latin word, limen, and it means threshold, doorway. The anthropologist Victor Turner studied rites of passage across many cultures, indigenous initiations, religious rituals, coming of age ceremonies, and found that every single one contained a phase he called liminal, the in between, the zone where you are no longer what you were and not yet what you will become. Most of us try to rush through this space as fast as possible. We fill it with plans, new identities, productivity systems. We want to get the after quickly so that we can stop feeling so unmoored. But the liminal is not a waiting room, it is a classroom. It is the place where the psyche has the most access to what is unconscious, where dreams become vivid and strange, where old grief surfaces without obvious cause, where the shadow knocks loudest. The question inside the liminal is not, what is my next move? The question is, who am I when the role is gone? Here is something nobody tells you about major life transitions. The part of you that is suffering is often the part of you that was never really you to begin with. The job title you lost, the role you outgrew, the identity you built to survive, to be accepted, to be loved, to be safe. Carl Jung called it the persona, the mask, the ego that we construct so the world will receive us. It's an adapting function. When a threshold cracks, the mask opens. Migration, burnout, a diagnosis, a relationship ending. It's all terrifying. And underneath the terror, if you can stay still long enough to feel it, there is something else, a kind of relief, because what lives beneath the persona is more real than anything on your resume. The crisis is not asking you to rebuild the mask. It is asking you to meet yourself. Along the crossing, you meet the shadow. Here is what I see again and again. When people come to work with me through a major life transition, the shadow follows them across the threshold. The parts of themselves they have been successfully avoiding or denying, the anger they reframed as professionalism, the grief they called moving on, the longing they dismissed as impractical, these do not stay behind. They are waiting on the other side. Jung said the shadow is everything the conscious ego refuses to be, and transitions, with all their disruption and destabilization, have a way of surfacing exactly what we have been refusing. The executive who said, I don't have time to feel things, now can stop crying in the car. The immigrant who told herself, I've left that life behind, is flooded 10 years later with a belonging she can't name and she can't set down. The person who changed careers for practical reasons dreams every night about the path they didn't take. This is not a breakdown. This is the shadow asking to be integrated, to be seen, named, and brought into the whole. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to complete you. I want to be honest here with you. I don't want to idealize this. Not every threshold brings obvious gifts. Some transitions carry real and permanent losses. Some crossings leave marks that never fully fade. But here is what I have witnessed in my own life, across cultures, and in the therapy room and coaching work with people who have been willing to go through rather than around the situation. The ones who do not rush the liminal, who engage their shadow, who let the old story soften without immediately building the new one, they emerge with something the persona never had, a kind of solidity, a groundedness in who they are rather than who they had been performing. In alchemy, Jung's favorite metaphor for psychological transformation is the prima materia, the raw, chaotic, difficult material which has to be broken down completely before gold can be found. You are not being destroyed, you're being refined. Here's a practice for you. For whenever you are in your own transition, you can do this now or come back to it with a journal. At the top of the page, I want you to write, the story I was telling about myself through what I've lost was ... and you fill that in. And then I want you to finish that sentence as many times as you need to. Let it run. Then on a new line, I want you to put beneath that story, what I actually know about myself is ... and fill that in. This is not a reframe. It is an excavation. You are not building a new persona. You are finding what was there all along, waiting underneath everything you built on top of that mask. If this video really opens something in you, I write more deeply about threshold crossings, shadow work, the path of self discovery in my other platforms as well. There are links below if you want to go further. And if you or you know someone who is in the middle of a threshold right now, maybe it's a friend, a client, a family member, navigating something that doesn't have a name yet. Share this video with them. Sometimes the most useful thing is simply to know that what is happening has a shape and has a meaning. And as always, if you want to go deeper, I have some openings. There are links below for you to schedule a 15-minute free consultation with me to see if we're a good match. Remember, you are guided, you are loved, and your path is sacred.